Thank you for meeting us, Ms. Porter.
My pleasure.
I'm here to ask you a few questions about your occupation, and what is that again?
I'm a psychologist.
Psychologist?
Mm-hmm.
Any specific field that you practice in?
Family, mental health.
Family? Okay. How long have you been doing this?
About 30 years.
30 years? Where did you get your degree?
Got my degree, well, I started at Norfolk State.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Duke for a while. I went to Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally graduated from Family Volleyball University over in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I got my bachelor's, master's, and my PhD from there.
Okay, so you were extremely qualified for this interview. Why did you decide to go into psychology?
Well, I think it started, I wasn't encouraged to go into psychiatry. I go back way farther than you. I came from abusive kind of background.
Mm-hmm.
And I was encouraged by my parents to go into education because back in the day, that was what everybody did. If you went to college,
Mm-hmm.
you were guaranteed a job teaching. I never wanted to do that, so I studied education, business education,
Mm-hmm.
and but I made my minor psychology,
Okay.
and it stuck. And I was doing it even before I got my degree.
So did it stick because you enjoyed it, or were you something you were good at?
I love it.
Okay.
I wanted to understand that some of the things that had happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know I wasn't by myself, and I thought I could help people. Because back then, there was nobody to help me.
So it's safe to say that this subject is really close to your heart.
Very
Yes.
close.
Okay. Were you an only child
No,
as a kid? You
there's four of
siblings?
us. I have a brother and three sisters,
Mhm.
one deceased.
Oh, okay. Are you the oldest of them?
I'm
or-
the oldest.
Oh, okay. So how do you feel about having siblings? Like, do you feel like it was important growing up? Did you feel like you had like something to fall back on?
I didn't appreciate my sisters, and I was the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, even then, remember I said that I was counseling people even before a degree.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, and I don't understand it even today, why grown-ups used to come to me with the issues. And I would help them, and well, I would tell them that I guess it helped, they kept coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as my sisters and my brothers concerned, I wasn't that much older in years,
Uh-huh.
but mentally I was. So, and I felt more mature than them even when we were kids. So whatever thing we played or did, I was always the leader. And so I can't say that that we grew up like most sisters and brothers, you know, playing baking and
Mm-hmm.
whatever kids do, but and I didn't really learn to appreciate them until we were adults.
So do you feel that you kind of had a hand in raising them?
Yes, I do, because even though my mother was a stay-at-home mom,
Mm-hmm.
whenever she had to go someplace, I guess I thought it was only because of I was the oldest that I was always the one in charge. Yeah, that was a holy terror too. But yeah, I did have a hand in raising them.
Okay. So from a psychologist standpoint, what do you feel a sibling's role usually is, like in a common everyday family?
I think it's very, very important. See, when you're an only child, that makes you, well, alone. I mean, by nature, alone. But even more than that, you can share when you have brothers and sisters, and whether you have a good family or a bad family, you can share the good and the bad. You know, if you have a system, because you're both there, you're both in the same pot, and so you grow up closer if you have brothers and sisters, or then if you're you're alone, you know, even though you might have friends, it's nothing closer than a brother or sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it's very important. I know there are lots of kids that don't have brothers and sisters, but if I had my choice, I would prefer having brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that you would grow up better mentally if you had more siblings, or if you had fewer, or
At
if
least
you were
one.
only child? At least one.
Mm-hmm. At least one. But if you don't, because I know this is probably going to go out to kids that are an only child, that doesn't make you any less. You know, you can find your friends, establish a relationship with a close friend, or even a close relative. But I think that the important message from me to whoever this is going out to is you might fight like cats and dogs, as sisters and brothers, or brothers and brothers, or however you are, but I think it's so important to learn to appreciate the relationship, because a lot of times it's over before you even know it. You know, like I got married at a very early age, and so, you know, that I moved out, you know, and so there were things that I missed with the ones that I left at home, you know, because I was the oldest and I was separated really mentally, you know, so just cherish your relationship you got if you got a brother or sister.
Okay. Do you feel that a sibling's role in the family is equal to or even more important than the parents' role?
No.
No?
Nothing is more important than a parent's role.
How so?
You know? Well, look, brothers and sisters, I mean, there are cases, strange cases that you read about or see on television where children raise themselves, you know, but normally a child needs a parent. And even if you're an only child, a parent, and there's nothing more important than a parent's role, nothing. You gotta have an authority. Children are they rebel against authority, but they're looking for authority, you know. Because if you don't learn it at home, you're gonna learn it somewhere.
So, I'm trying to think of it. We can cut this part out.
You want me to cut?
No, just keep going.
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about mentally? Do you think that having a sibling would kind of a cushion, because there's always somebody there who will kind of understand you because they're going through the same thing at the same time?
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And you know, relationship-wise, sibling can establish a pattern for you for the rest of your life. You know, you can learn so much just and it doesn't appear that way when you're growing up. You know, I hate my brother or my sister, and they don't understand, and blah blah blah. But they're there. They're going through the same thing you are, and so you can bounce things off each other. And when you grow up, if there's a relationship there that will even when you go out into the workforce or get married, you know, there's things that you learn in that relationship that's impossible to teach. You know, so I think it's very, very important.
Have you ever dealt with, because you work with multiple clients, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever come across a situation where the sibling was more of an authority figure than the parent was, or that her brother, he was raised by a brother, raised by a sister?
Well, lots of times that happens, especially if you have both parents working. The older brother or sister is usually the one that's in charge, and so they have the parental role, you know, in the home, because they're the ones that like I was the one in charge, even though I had my in-home mother. But if she went anywhere or even just to visit a friend or anything, I was always the one in charge. And
So
they had to do what I said.
So you're like the designated babysitter?
I was the designated babysitter, the designated mom. Fortunately, we are so close together, like the maximum I believe is 2 years, that I never had to change Pampers or anything like that. But I didn't comb hair, you know, for the sisters and stuff like that. But they still had to do what I say. We were left like things to do, chores, things like that, and they had to do it the way I said do it. And so, yeah, I had a parental role, but I had a parents over me, you know, so I didn't have to establish any rules. You know, that's what parents do. And children desire it, although they fight it. They don't want, you gotta tell them what to do, but they say they don't, but they really do.
So do you feel that, say, if you were growing up in an abusive family, like your parents were abusive, do you feel that having like siblings around you, do you think that would help the situation any better? Like,
Yeah,
to deal with it?
we protected each other. When I say abusive, what was abusive to me then? Well, it wasn't abusive to me then. Actually, it became abusive when they passed the Child Act.
So,
You know.
Yeah. So by abuse, do you mean like physical discipline? Or
Oh,
mental,
yeah.
Or
Physical discipline, not mental.
no.
No, my parents were very supportive. My father worked day and night to give us everything the Joneses had. You know, we were the first to have everything. We really did. I had not a clue that I wasn't a rich child until I was out there trying to make it on my own. You know, but if my father were alive to this day, I could call home and Daddy, you know. So my father was very supportive. He took care of his family. My mother was, she, you know, stayed home on bake cookies and put a tree and all this stuff like read about in the book. She sewed everything with her hands. She was fantastic. By the way, what was your question?
I was just I was just asking, do you think that like having people around the same age group like that you grew up with would kind of cushion the blow of having like
Abuse.
yeah, having
See, when they would whip us, that's what they called it back then. The thing is, like my sister loved the ground I walked on, the one next to me, and she would, but Daddy, she didn't do it, you know, but I really did. And so, and we stuck together against, it was us against them, you know. And so it was like we did what we could to protect each other, you know. And that stuck even to this day, you know. I still have a sister and a brother, and to this day we still stick together. If I go home, it's just like the Queen has come, you know. They come here, it's the same thing. So I think but those patterns were established when we were little. You know, we protected each other.
So it's safe to say that you guys kind of have like a lifetime long friendship with each other.
Oh yeah, more than, I mean, it's, you know, friends can be somebody that you go to school with or you meet on the street and you sit down and have a chat with and all of that. This is way closer than that, you know. There's nobody closer to me than my sister. You know, or my brother, to tell you the truth. You know, we discuss things that I would never tell you. You know, and they know me, even that they know the things that I don't say. You know, and I can feel there's something wrong, whether they're here or not. You know, they're in another state, but if something's not right, I will call them in the middle of the night and say, okay, what's going on? You know, nothing. Yeah, that I know it's time for me to go home.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you, Miss Porter.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Is this it?
Yes.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now you can cut it.
Cut it.
My leg fell asleep.
Yeah, man, my back's starting to hurt, man.
Okay, so what do you think?